skill training, pleasure to address you on the inaugural of the skill training events. The skill training programs have been started by the Institute from the year 2020, looking at the market scenario, market demand, that a graduate or a professional completing their courses is unable to employ, or I would say it's not ready for employment. The government in various discussions with us discussed this, and finally we advised them that we must have a skill development courses, so that whenever a candidate goes out, maybe with the intermediate qualification or the final qualification, is ready for job. I listened and called, considering this skill development initiatives of the institute, which today we are starting this event. The Maharashtra government has entrusted us to train their 3 lakh young graduates over a period of 3 years. I recall just a sentence. Recall a discussion or in the public discussion by the Honorable Minister in Maharashtra at that time. The BCom graduates are not employable. Let the cost governments of India make them employable. Today, it's not the theoretical education or the academic or maybe professional theoretical education which will be going to help you. Whenever you go to a job, the employer takes a lot of time to fit you for a job. Here, we have started this initiative from the year 2020 to see that whenever you complete the course or whenever you complete the intermediate and you go for a job, you are ready for employment. With this, I wish you all the best for this course and all the best for your future career. Thank you. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, sir. I now request our Honorable Vice President of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India, CMA Vijender Sharma, sir, to kindly address. Over to you, sir.
The theoretical education or the academic or maybe professional theoretical education which is going to help you.
Hello, am I audible, ma'am? Yeah.
Yes, sir, you're audible, sir.
Yeah. Well, good morning, respected President Shri P. Raju here, sir. Respected Shri Balvinder Singh, sir, my colleague in the council and chairman of Department of Studies. Respected Dr. Nandi, the senior director of Institute of Cost Accountant for Department of Studies, and all the learned fellow colleagues. I understand that today we are interacting with the professional, maybe the intermediate or maybe the final qualified people. You see, we must understand that there is always a difference between education qualification and professional qualification. The difference is this specialized skilled man. Without such a skill, I think all qualification become only the academic qualification only. So for any cost accountant, when you expected to join the industry after qualifying your degree, maybe intermediate or maybe the final part, they're expecting you to perform certain job, like preparing the course sheet. You should be well versed with the accounting systems, a little bit about this Excel programming, the SAP, Oracle. So this actually the concept introduced because due to Corona, we couldn't have the proper training for our students to have with the practicing people. So it's a very good concept introduced by Dr. Balvinder Singh, sir, in the direction and leadership of our President Shri P. Raju here, sir. And I request all our fellow colleagues, my students, my intermediate final students, why I am raising them as a colleague, because I feel that all our fraternity people, whether you are semi-qualified or qualified, we are all colleagues over here. So it's very important. So take the benefit of it, and it will be very good, helpful for you for the future times to come. With this, thank you very much. Over to the coordinator. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. I now request our Honorable President of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India, CMA P. Raju here, sir, to kindly address our students. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Wishing everyone happy, healthy and prosperous days ahead. I'm very happy to be here. Respected our Vice President, CMA Vijender Sharma ji, respected CMA Balvinder Singh ji, who is Chairman for Training and Education Facility, this is whose brainchild this skill development program is. And my dear budding cost and management accountants, we are having Senior Director CMA Devaprasad Nandi ji, and Riya Chaudhary ji, who is coordinating this event and who is very friendly with the students, and you can contact CMA Riya Chaudhary for all your requirements and your suggestions, so that she will be taking care of your need and requirements. Students, as pointed by your Vice President and Balwinder Singh ji, we have got the feedback from the industry in our campus placement, pre-placement programs and all those things, that our students are very good in the subjects, but they lack skill development and communication skill and employable in a very big way. So our Balwinder Singh ji, during his presidency, has taught that we should go for training of our young dynamic budding cost and management accountants, so that they will be not only employable but also will be able to take the leadership position in the industry, so that our contribution to economy and the nation will be appreciated and will be very high. Take the training skill development program seriously, and you are spending your valuable time and energy. Get the maximum benefit from the eminent faculties whom we are arranging. And it is, as you know, that SAP India has providing training, and Microsoft people and Cambridge University, all the big people we have arranged it. As you know that the certificate also will be issued to you, which will be helping you to get the employment also. As an institute, now we are, as you know that for 15 minutes training, since you are having, due to this pandemic situation, we have discussed in our council, and our Balwinder Singh ji has announced that we will be exempting the 15 months training for June examination, so that you will be taking up the examination in June. Same way for the December examination, only 6 months will be required. You can able to write the examination in December. Of course, you know that the examination will be online, and we are having plenty of centers. This time we are creating, and whatever the issues faced by our students in the last examination, we are mitigating that. All services, whatever required for online examination, we will be giving it. You will be getting the at least 5 MTPs for practice during this period, and at least 1 mock test will be also be there, so that you will be very comfortable in facing the examination. The examination questions should be tough. Then only there will be an image in the public, and the valuation also will be tough. Then only the value will be there. So we have to create the value for our students, so that the industry will be respecting it. It is not that we will be simply creating the examination where anyone can just pick and pass the examination. The pattern also will be sharing. That's why 5 MTPs will be there. We have already arranged to upload the past suggested answer, so that you will be able to get the maximum benefit by going through our website. Meantime, all your doubts and whatever you are having, you can discuss with our department. We are having a grievance cell also. If you are having any grievance, that also will be addressed to you. Motivation and your performance is very much important. You should always ensure that you are able to have a good practice, good performance, so that you will be coming out with successful with the flying colors. The institute is providing the platform, so that you will get to all the technical support also. We are also conducting a lot of certificate courses and advanced diploma courses for the members as well as the students. As if you want to stay where you are, you want to keep on running, you have to update yourself, then only you will be able to get all the benefits. So we are having certificate course on data analytics, forensic audit. Now we are starting a certificate course on internal audit also from next month. So internal auditing will be providing you good opportunity to get the employment in the industry also. As you know that the audit and accounting scenario is completely changing. It is not like those days where we are keeping the books in vouching, bookkeeping and all that. The whole thing is done by whatever the ERP packages, especially the SAP. So that one entry, whatever is made in the purchase order, all the things should be taken care of. By click of the button, by the systems, you are able to get all the information you require. So the data analytics is very much important. The how you are going to do the audit in the scenario through the system, that is more important. That's why we are arranging the course in such a way that forensic audit, internal auditing, and all the certificate courses will be able to be employable also. Our banking department also providing a lot of certificate courses on banking aspects. Of course, for the students, we are providing the concession also, so that you will be getting the maximum benefit. Take advantage of whatever the institute is providing, and study material and everything is now updated and upgraded, and we are forwarding it. All your requirements will be taken care of. Wishing you all the best. Only our request is taking these type of training programs are launching very seriously. Get the maximum benefit by spending your time and money and the resources so that you will be fully equipped and employable and able to take the institute CMA flag high. Wishing you all the best. I am thanking CMA Devaprasad Nandiji and Riya Chaudhary for coordinating the event in a very well way. Wishing you all the best. Good day, good day, good day.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable address and guidance you shared with us. I now request Director of Electromech Global Private Limited, Sri Balaji, to kindly address. Balaji, sir, are you online?
Yeah, I'm very much.
Sir, so can you just on your video, sir?
Yeah.
Otherwise, it will not come.
Can you see me?
No, sir.
No,
Your video is
not
not.
yet.
I have already switched on the video.
It's not coming, sir.
Okay, let me switch off and switch on again. Yeah, I can see myself for sure.
Only your voice is
Yeah.
I don't know because my video is on here.
It's not coming actually.
Anything I need to do because my video is on. I can see myself. Okay, let me not waste time. Maybe I'll just try once more and then I will start. Okay, so I hope you can see me now. Very good morning to all of you, and a special thanks to the Honorable President Sri Raju Ayerji, the Vice President Mr. Vijayendra Sharma ji, and past President Dr. Balwinder Singh, and Senior Director Dr. Nandi, and of course Riya Madam. Thank you for giving this opportunity. I would like to definitely address the students, especially the student community, on the importance of skill training. As very rightly pointed out by the people who spoke earlier, there is a slight gap between the output of the education institution and the industry requirement. And typically this gap is bridged by the industries by hiring people and then giving a very long training. At times they even feel that this training may not be well utilized. Hence, the skill training is an extremely important component of anybody's career, because you're so lucky that as a student you are getting an opportunity to bridge this gap as a student itself, rather than logging out of a student, getting into employment and then trying to bridge the gap. I should really thank and appreciate the institute for having taken such a step. And they have also done a very good analysis about what is required in the industry. Of course, as I heard just now, that the government and the industry gave this feedback, and they have done a real good research, and then they have added ERP, that is an SAP solution here. Soft skills and employability skills are added here. Microsoft Office, we all know, is an inevitable part of every corporate life. So that is also being included in the curriculum, and of course, e-filing with simulations. So if you see, it's a right combination that bridges the gap between the educational output and the requirement of the industry. So I really appreciate the work that has been done by the institute, and also the grand work that they are doing overall in ensuring that all the students get all the content, material assessment, etc., and the communication that keeps going. I must put a word of appreciation for Dr. Nandi and his team, Riya Madam and others, for really coordinating all this work. With these few words, I would not like to take more time and hand over the floor back to Riya Madam. And it's a pleasure to be associated with this. We have our experienced faculty who have been lined up for all these sessions. And of course, we have a solid support framework that has already been put in place for the students to make the best of and get the best benefit out of the skill training. Thank you all of you, and wishing each one of you all the very best.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir, for your address. We have our faculty, Mr. Nagraj, so we will listen to him. But before that, we will like to request our Senior Director, Sir, CMA Dr. DP Nandi, Sir, Senior Director, Studies and Advanced Studies, Training and Placement, to kindly deliver the vote of thanks of inaugural session and say a few words. Then we will come to the technical session.
Am I audible, ma'am?
Yeah, you are audible, sir.
Thank you. So today we are privileged to have with us our Honorable President P. Raju Iyer, Vice President Sir CMA Vijender Sharma, Chairman Training and Education Facilities, and past President CMA Dr. Balwinder Singh, and CMA Padanavan Sir may join at any point of time, and with us our Mr. Balaji, our skill training partner of EME, our faculty members, Ria Madam, Janvi Madam, and other colleagues of skill training team. So already I have seen that around 4,000 candidate students, they have already logged in this platform of MS Teams. I think this next 1.5 months of the skill training sessions every day, already we have announced the sessions in PDF format in our skill training portal, and the classes for next 4 days have already been allotted and you have received the mail. We have basically given that SAP, training on SAP, training on Excel, training on e-filing, and training on Cambridge soft skill. So these 4 items that we had identified 2 years back, this is the major skill gap for the students. So in order to become a finished product in the market, even after the intermediate course, these 4 products, that is SAP, which is world-renowned product in finance, that Excel, without Excel, we cannot go further in modeling, in calculating, in any type of decision-making thing. And the soft skill training with Cambridge and e-filing in Indian context. So these 4 very important modules that has been embedded in our intermediate course curriculum. It's a very welcome step for the institute, for the students, and we are the only professional body in India who has embedded these 4 important modules of skill training, world-class skill training programs in the intermediate course curriculum for the benefit of the students. Already most of the students have got that login credentials, but still few students who are yet to receive these login credentials. They will be receiving it very soon, within this month only. So we are trying our best because that admission process was late till 25th of February, it was continued. So we have been working on that. So nothing to be worried for the students. So we request all the students, and you can also, those who are attending today, you can also spread this thing through your friends that they should attend these online training sessions. Although the video recorded sessions will be available later on, but there is nothing better than to take the live classes from the experts. Today we are having Nagaraj sir, very experienced faculty in SAP. First half we'll be doing it SAP, second half we'll be doing with Excel. In this way our program will go on. And another thing I should inform you, at the end of this program from May and June, we'll have full online assessment test. And you know, if a student wants to give this intermediate examination for both the groups or the remaining group, that is the last group, those who have passed the first one and the remaining one is the second, or already passed the second group, remaining one is the first one, they have to clear this assessment test with 50% marks, just like your intermediate examination. And this assessment will be done through online process, through NARGI portal, and immediately you will get the certificate and mark sheet, and you'll be given 3 attempts to clear this online test. And nothing to be worried, that online test is not much difficult. If you go through these classes sessions meticulously, you'll definitely clear it out and you'll be able to take up your intermediate examination in June. So this is the procedure, and I hope many more students will be joining soon. so that this program, this skill training program will be eventful and very much successful with the participation of all the students, with our excellent faculty members and with the support of our skill training department and with the guidance of our President, Vice President, Sir, our Chairman, Sir, and all the council members. So we'll make it very much successful for in search of their future excellence in career path. So with this, I'd like to thank everyone for joining to the skill training session. And I please, Ria Madam, if you can take over the microphone from here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your address. We will now have our Honorable Central Council Member CMA H. Padmanabhan, sir. He has already joined. So, Padmanabhan, sir, you are online, sir. Kindly unmute yourself.
Thank you, Ria Madam.
Sir,
In
you
fact,
have to
initially
unmute your video also. So just a minute, sir. Yeah.
we have unmuted.
Yeah.
I can see myself and
Yes. So you are on live screen, sir. So kindly, we request you, sir, to kindly address, sir.
yes. Thank you very much, Ria Madam. In fact, initially we got the participants link. Therefore, I think President, Vice President could not join. They are also sending mail. You can help them if they have not yet joined. So, respected Honorable Balwinder Singh, sir, former President of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India, under whose leadership the training program for children has started, and we decided to go for 15 months. And with regard to skill training, I was listening to Nandi sir, who has explained very clearly in a lucid manner for all the participants to understand. And this is a great initiative. As far as the training is concerned, as your Papan Bhai, I am making it very clear, the more the training you attend, the more the sessions you attend, the more you gain. You may wonder as to, sir, we have to study for the examination. We have to come out successful in the examination. Then what for training, sir? But anything and everything which you learn, it is like a fine-tuning yourself to be present before the. And Balwinder Singh, sir, and Nandi sir's a dream, vision. I can see in the poster itself, CMA going global. Many of our students and members were asking, what is global? Already we are global. It is not like that. What is the industry requirement? And what the other countries, 178 countries that are looking at Indian citizens, the young kids from India who are going to rule this world in future. So this particular soft skill training program. And of course, some of the students were a little bit upset telling, and yesterday I spoke to Nandi sir. See, this is a initial this thing for 10,000 students. You know, the volume of students for the Institute of Cost Accountants of India is huge. Especially CMA going global, many of the students from other field are also joining our institute. So the more the number, it is our pleasure to serve more. That is the attitude of our institute. I congratulate Balwinder Singh sir, Nandi sir and the studies department team, including Ria madam, who is taking a lot of pain in organizing such programs. So once this is over, next batch of students will start getting the link, and you will be benefiting from the services rendered by the institute. And as far as the online classes are concerned, again, I would like to congratulate Balwinder Singh sir and team for the reason that many of the students are not having enough or sufficient time, energy or money to spend extra to go to some tuition center or academy or college or tutorial classes or whatever it is. And institute is coming with the eminent speakers by organizing online classes, and many students have sincerely thanked, especially from remote villages. Students have found it very useful. I congratulate Balwinder Singh sir and team for the excellent effort taken. And by this, we are seeing many students who are average or below average are also performing well in the examination and coming out successful. So wish you all the best. Thanks, Ria madam and Ashish Tiwari sir for the timely help in enabling me to join this. Yes, you are all students and you would like to know something about the examination also. As we have already communicated, since the last date for admission, which was extended as per Balwinder sir's decision with regard to as per the request of and demand of the students, it was extended to February 25th. Therefore, examination will be immediately after June 25th only. The pattern will be same, except for some friendly this thing in section B. Other than that, A, C, D, let us see. Anything else we can do some this thing so that it is student friendly, so that they can finish within the 3 hours. More overseas centers we are planning, especially in Gulf countries, and it will be home-based examination only. And another beauty and congratulations to the studies department, T&DF committee under the leadership of Balwinder Singh Saris, and the institute president, vice president, Raju Iyer sir, Vijender Bhai, that grievance cell portal has been opened not only for members and stakeholders, but for students. And soon you will have a single window student service window rather, where exam related matter, studies related matter questions can be put in. Nandi sir and Parekh sir, who are the head of the studies and that examination department, will be with their team of officials in the institute to help the students to address their doubts, clarification, and like this, so many steps are being taken. And with regard to the foundation course, you can convey to your younger ones, those because you are all intermediate or final who are attending this program, you can convey to them that that will be a little bit earlier. We need not wait till June 25th or immediately after June 25th, but it will be much before that. And things are going in a right direction. Only thing is, we want you to find some time to enjoy studying also. You enjoy whatever you want, that is everything. While going for the skill training program or for studies, do it as a part of your enjoyment with some commitment, and definitely success will be yours. And attending such program, that though online, don't just log in and switch off the video or audio and do some other activities. But we sincerely request you to, because this is a service rendered by the institute, and it is for you to utilize the services which you are eligible to get, and it is your right and your duty also to attend such a skill training program. Thank you, Dr. Nandi sir, for inviting me and giving me an opportunity. Thanks to Riya Madam, Ashit Tiwari sir, thanks to Balwinder Singh sir, and all the best to the faculty members, the expert faculty members. You please listen to them and go by their this thing. And as Nandi sir has very clearly explained, after this you will have some assessment test and so many things, and you are eligible to get a certificate. That will also be very useful. And please attend. I won't say 100%. I know children are children, but at least 90%. Please concentrate and attend and listen to the faculty members who are going to give. And who knows, tomorrow you yourself can become a trainer after completing the CMA examination. Wish you all the best. Thank you, Riya Madam. So nice.
Thank you so much, sir. I now request our Senior Director DP Nandi sir to say a few words before starting the technical session.
So thank you. I've already expressed my view about the skill training. So now I request students to attend those sessions like Papan sir has already mentioned. So 100% we expect from the student, at least 90% classes they should attend, because you will get all these world-class certificates after clearing these assessment tests. SAP from SAP, Cambridge University Press for the soft skill, from Microsoft for this Excel and Word and PowerPoint, and e-filing certificate. So all these certifications are really priceless, and there's a wonderful opportunity for you students to grab this opportunity and have these certificates, and it will give you a huge weightage while you appear before the interview, and it will definitely enhance your confidence level while you enter into the interview board. And I think you all will come out with flying colors with this CMA course going global slogan. Thank you very much, madam.
Today's students, tomorrow's leader. So
yes.
You have to be the, tomorrow. Already you are leader as a student, but today's student, tomorrow's leader. All the best.
Well said, sir. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. So now we are ending the inaugural session here and we are starting the technical session. So we have a faculty member with us, Sri Nagaraj. So I request Mr. Nagaraj to kindly unmute yourself and you may kindly start your session.
Thank you so much.
Sir, you need to
Welcome,
unmute
Nagaraj,
your
sir.
video, sir. Your video.
Welcome, Nagaraj, sir.
So thank you very much for all the warm welcome. Very good morning.
Sir, your video is not visible, sir.
Yeah, I think now I'm visible.
Yeah, now you're visible. Yeah. You may
Okay.
kindly continue, sir.
So thanking each and every one of you and a very warm welcome. So welcome to this session. So I'll be taking you people through the entire session of SAP. So as the distinguished people have already spoken about the importance of the skill training, it will be understood once the student clears the CMA examination and then tries to enter into the job market. So of course, you are already in the very critical management accounting area of the business. So we don't have to lay much emphasis on the importance of management accounting in any kind of a business. And you will also see going further, at least by the end of the session, how SAP is going to help you people out in a massive way. Okay, you'll be able to appreciate the whole system and you will see how beautifully the system is actually meant or actually is designed to meet the requirements of the business. So with this, probably we can start off with the basic things of understanding even before I start talking about SAP. So let's try to understand what SAP is all about, what kind of a system it is, what does it do for us, what is its contribution to the business. So we will see how things move in SAP once we start the sessions. Okay. So a very warm welcome to each and everyone and thanking each one of you for the opportunity for me to address this August gathering. So let us start off. Balaji sir, you want to talk something?
Yeah. So I would like to maybe present the initial logins that they get from Energy and how they use it. So I'll just share my screen and then walk the students through about what is that they get initially. Please confirm if you can see my screen.
Sure.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay. So if you see, this is the screen that each one of you will get. You would have got an email from Energy. This is the screen you will get, and the Energy login credentials are also shared with you. So you will put in your email address and the password that is put in, and then you log in. The first you log in, you will get a screen like this. Okay. So these are all the 4 topics that are there. This is for the existing students, so don't bother about the messages in the banner. So this are the 4 topics that you have. SAP, that is power user of finance, soft skills and employability skills, Microsoft Office, which includes Word, PowerPoint and Excel with emphasis on Excel, and e-filing. And you can find your name and other profile details that has been shared will be here to the right. So in this single platform, as earlier Dr. Nandi also said, the assessment is also there and you will also be able to get your certificates in this platform itself. Whoever clears the assessment will get a certificate in this platform itself. Now let me talk about the courses. These are the 4 topics that you will be learning as a part of skill training. SAP, soft skills and employability skills, Microsoft Office and e-filing. For you to get more details about each of these, you just need to click on view details. It gives you what is this whole thing about, what is SAP, what are the various learning materials. I'm not going to give you more details about this. Mr. Nagraj, our senior faculty, will be walking you through all this. I just would like to guide you on a few topics. One, here you have a help video for both setting up the SAP system and also how to access the Learning Hub access that you get. Plus, there is also a question bank. Once you're done with your preparation, there is a question bank. I'll just click and show you for your benefit. There is a question bank that gives you a rough idea about what sort of questions you will get. Of course, it's a very small subset of the questions that you will get, but just a question bank for your ease of studying and taking up the assessments. Then you have Cambridge. As far as SAP is concerned, of course, Mr. Nagraj will take you through all the details. You will have to access something called Learning Hub. SAP, you will get a direct mail from SAP for this with the credentials. You can click and then you'll have to set it up and you can access host of other content along with this particular content. How to access that content, all those guidance is given in these guide documents, installation guide and also various other help documents. Further, if somebody is interested, you can also explore other topics other than costing. We are only talked about finance. If somebody is interested in SAP logistics or materials management, all those material are available for you for access for a period of 11 months from the date we release on Learning Hub. You can go access this material and these are all self-learning material you can learn yourself. So while the faculty, Mr. Nagraj, will walk you through the finance that is there for this assessment, there are other material also that is available for you. And whenever you have spare time, you have all the opportunity to learn the way you want and whenever you want. Next comes Cambridge. Something very similar. You have a Cambridge One portal and you will have a access code. You will have to activate it and you will get some very good material on soft skills and employability skills. There was a study that was conducted in India which found that more than 80% of the students who come out of college lack employability skills and soft skills, which is very important for a successful career in corporate life. So that is what the Institute has done a detailed study and they have put this here. And there will be various of our very eminent faculty who will walk you through this. And my understanding is these are also recorded and you as students can hear the recording at your own pace and a later time also for refreshing whatever you have learned now. Similarly, you have Microsoft Office and you have the question bank here. These are all books from Microsoft which you can access, go through, and of course we have our faculty who will be walking you through these content also. Then comes something very interesting is e-filing. Everything has become and e-filing is mandatory now in this country. So we have all these topics like PAN, income tax, GST, customs, EPFO, ESIC, digital certificate, digital signature, everything. Theory is here. The simulations is already given here. You can click on this and try out your own simulations, wherein you can actually file GST. Of course, you are not filing GST. This will be on a simulated environment, of course, for education purpose. You can do all this, you can practice, so that when you go to the industry, you have an absolute hands-on yourself. Plus, after you complete all this, the Institute will announce the dates for assessments. You'll be clicking on this assessment and scheduling your assessments and you'll be taking up these tests. As per policy, 50% is the pass mark for clearing this assessment. And the moment you click or submit button, you will get to see what is your result. Over and above that, for the benefit of the students, we have also designed a mock test. The dates for the mock will be immediately before the assessment. So you can practice mock 3 times, 5 times. It's a small 5 minutes, 10 minutes practice. So in case you're not comfortable with live assessments or online MCQs, you have the mock that will make you very comfortable so that you can take the assessment whenever it is scheduled. The duration will be for 90 minutes. The number of questions is 90. It is 1 minute per question, and maximum you have 3 attempts to clear this. And we have incorporated the passing policy as detailed by the institute. Of course, after you clear this, you will be getting all the certificates here. And a special thanks to the institute that you will be provided with 5 certificates, 4 different certificates, each from each of the topic: SAP, Cambridge University Press, Microsoft, and e-filing. Plus, for ease of handling these certificates, there is a consolidated certificate that has been released for you. And please note, all these certificates are QR coded so that whenever you share the certificate with any employer, they can verify your data. The advantage is you have an authenticated, verifiable, and OEM with MNC logos in these certificates, which carries immense value for each one of you. Now, what does this mean for you? Is that please take it very seriously, attend all the sessions, and most importantly, clear the assessment and download your certificates immediately. Plus, over and above this, we also have a help segment. We also have chat help that we provide in the working hours, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Plus, you also have an FAQ that will help you how to prepare, what to prepare for assessment, what is the policy, what are the certificates, etc., are all there in the FAQs. So we have built a very comprehensive platform for the ease of the student. We have also ensured that the usability for the student is very high. We have done the usability test and ensured that it is very easy for a student to navigate through this portal or through this platform. And so that you don't waste time in learning how to use the platform, but that same time is used for learning these topics. Okay, so of course, we are always there. In case you have any doubts, you're most welcome to reach out to us. We have the skill training support, email support that we provide. You're most welcome to write to us and we will be there to support you. So with this, I hand over back to Nagraj to start off with your SAP sessions.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So let us start off with the initial sessions of understanding what SAP, how it is helpful for us and what it does for us, okay, from the operational operational perspective and as well as from the reporting perspective, okay. So this is exactly what the top management wants. And as you already are aware, since you're all management accounting students, so I did not have to explain or maybe lay more emphasis on the role of a management consultant in the business. So let us try to get back to a few slides, okay, which probably is being prepared just for the basic understanding, okay. So let us spend maybe 1 or 2 sessions on understanding what SAP is all about, and then we will get into the live SAP sessions so that you will also understand the working of SAP, okay. But even before we start working on the SAP system, as Balaji sir just used 2 terminologies now, one from the management reporting or the controlling. I probably am not wrong if he has used controlling. And he also said that I'm going to take up the finance aspect of it. Yes. As we are going to go ahead with the SAP sessions, you will understand that the finance, even before we get into the controlling or the other name, technically is your management accounting module. So slowly I'll be using the SAP specific terms so that you get accustomed to it, and by the end of the session or by the end of this course, you are comfortable when you are in the job market, okay. So now let us try to understand why SAP. Now if you see any of
Sir, Nagaraj sir, your screen
Yes,
is
ma'am.
not visible, sir.
Yeah.
Your screen is not visible, sir.
Okay, fine, fine. I'll just share.
Yes, sir.
Just a moment, madam.
Yes, sir.
Madam, you are able to see my PPT?
Yes, sir. Now it is visible.
Excellent. So I'll just get it in a comfortable, yeah. So now, even before we understand the importance of SAP, so even before I flash the screen or the slide, I was talking to about why SAP. Now the thing about SAP is, earlier, probably when I started my SAP career, SAP was supposed to be the software only for the companies which could invest on this particular tool, which on this particular software, because a lot of cost was involved. Okay, but over a period of evolvement, what happened was, now the situation, the current situation is that most of the SMEs, that is even the small and the medium scale industries, they have started using this SAP as their software package. What it does, we'll slowly try to understand. We have quite some time to understand from the financial perspective only. Okay. Now, why the finance aspect? Now, finance module, I will slowly get into the module. They are typical to SAP language. Okay. So module, it is nothing but the portion of SAP. Now we are going to talk about the material management, the logistics, the sales, okay, the production. So these are the various functions what an organization performs. So these things, they are referred to as modules, and let me also tell you that finance is the most basic of all the modules which any organization would want to go ahead as the initial whatever you may call that as. Okay, if they want to test, if they are, now all the businesses may be using another software, yes, but if they have to switch on from a different package what they were using and to SAP, okay, they will have to understand how SAP works, and during this transition from one system to another system, from one package to another package, from system X to SAP, whatever you may call that as, finance plays a very, very important role, because as we know, business is nothing but keeping track of the outflow or the inflow of money. The whole thing is that, correct? So this is a very, 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 very basic definition of what business is all about. So you have money coming in and money going out, which is supposed to be the most important of the resources of an organization. So this is the basic thing what the business would want to address at the very first instance. Then the business is going to analyze the requirement, its requirement. That's what I mean to say. Even before bringing in the other things of SAP. So finance is not the only thing in SAP. So I just gave you a few examples, like say your production activities, your purchase activities, your sales activities. So all these things, they form the whole business unit. So how how is this being addressed in SAP? So finance is not the only thing. So I think somebody referred to the purchase order. So how things flow from the creation and how it gets converted to other things even before the whole order is closed. So all these things, this is how the different activities of the organization, they are talking to each other. Similar thing happens in SAP also. Sounds very interesting. Yes, it is very interesting. But let us try to understand the financial aspect of SAP, and then let us see how the finance aspect gels with the other operations of the organization. So how the purchase order is actually, how is it paid out? So it forms a part of the accounts payable, accounts receivables. So like this, and what happens in the specific modules. So let us try to open out each and everything and try to understand. So even before we talk about SAP, what is SAP all about? The first and the foremost thing what we need to understand is SAP is a ERP. So now we have two things to deal with. What is ERP? What is SAP? So we'll come to SAP in the next step. ERP. So what is ERP? Enterprise Resource Planning. So what does this package? Not only SAP, we have so many ERP packages. Even before SAP evolved, way back in 1971-72. Okay. Were there any ERPs? Yes, there were very much the other ERPs, which we are going to just mention about it, and how SAP has come out successfully in meeting the requirements of the current business scenarios. Why SAP is a market leader as far as the ERP packages are concerned. Okay. So ERP. So what does this do? I'm not talking only about SAP. Okay. I'm also bringing in the other ERPs. So slowly I'll bring in the other ERPs also. So it plans the resources of an organization. So the important resources, nothing new to you people because you're coming from an accounting background. So it is the man, money, and the other resources based on the business, what the organization is into and what it is looking from the SAP perspective, what the business wants from SAP. Okay. Now, the other packages, even before, so let us see what then ERP does. So ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning. What does it do? It helps the organization to plan for the very, very precious or the scarce resources, because you cannot use the suppose let us say I'm importing materials. I'm paying a lot of money towards that materials. So how judiciously I plan or I use this imported materials, they are planned. So what does planning lead to? It leads to the effective utilization of these precious resources. Okay, how very well you are going to use the human resources. When you employ a person, how best you can make use of his services. What is his expertise? Where does he fit well? Okay. So in order to plan, we need quick and accurate information system. So whatever ERP you're using, so now I'm going to just name a few of the ERP packages even before SAP came into existence. So the first and the foremost being PeopleSoft. Then came, of course, now I think most of the parts of the, if I'm not wrong, JD Edwards is also being used. So like this, we have a couple of the ERP packages. Now I think Tally is also slowly an ERP. So this is as of the current situation is concerned. But the people saw the JD Edwards, the Barn, earlier ERPs, they are also used, but their use has become very, very minimal. Why? We are going to understand when we get deeper into SAP system. So what should an ERP system do? Not only plan, but also reveal the information about those specific activities. Let us say I just gave you an example of my organization importing a very costly material. So where do I stand from the purchase perspective? What is my stock? In your terminology, this is a WIP. So I just cannot keep importing the materials. Just because I'm cash rich, it doesn't happen. So how do I plan? So how is this material going about? How efficiently am you making use of this material? Okay, so all these things, the system, whatever I'm investing on, okay, must also give me the timely and the accurate information about the specific resource. So this is exactly for what an ERP system, or currently let me say SAP, is being used. End-to-end integration. So just a couple of minutes ago, I said how the finance part of SAP blends or talks to the other operational aspects of the business. So it is not enough if it just the finance aspect. Now, if I'm purchasing something and if you're raising a purchase order, how does the life cycle of the purchase order comes to an end? So where does it come to an end? Only when the purchase order is honored completely in form of the supplies. So what are you going to do with the vendor? How is the vendor being treated in the SAP system? How is going to get created? How SAP system brings in the liability for the payment to be made to the vendor. All these things is called as the integration. Integration meaning how each and every aspect of the business is talking to one another. This is called as a module. Tomorrow I will get into this deeper. I will just mention all this in the Excel sheet so that it becomes a lot more clear. So tomorrow again, we will just talk about how the SAP system is gaining a lot of market, because why SAP is the most sought out ERP system currently. It is because of the integration powers what SAP has, or the power what SAP has to talk between the organizational activities in form of modules. The various activities what the organization is carrying out is called as modules in SAP. So we have the finance module, we have the controlling module, which talks about your costing. We have the purchase module, we have the sales module, we have the production module, we have the human resources module. So like this, we have n number of modules which should blend with each other, which is nothing but the integration, what we just spoke about. So for the system to be effective, it has to talk between the modules. Okay. Now, SAP provides all the above. So hence, that is why it is the leader. So what is the market share? So just let me skip. So if you want from the percentage perspective as to what is the market share, it says third largest software vendor in the world. Of course, this data is not updated for quite some time. So this is a brief about your SAP. What is SAP? Stands for Systems, Applications and Products, or products can also be replaced with procedures in data processing. This is what SAP stands for. Okay. Now, as a software package or as a business tool, what does it do? Where did it originate? So the story about how SAP originated lies here. It originated in Germany. Okay. It was the brainchild of 4 or 5 IBM engineers, okay, who came out of their job in IBM, and then they started this SAP. Okay. So you can see the numbers, 90,000 plus, third largest software vendor, worldwide presence. Okay, now we will see the why aspect of this. When you see the package, you will see how beautifully it meets the requirements of the business. Okay, so this is as far as the numbers or the statistics about the SAP as to why it's being used, why it is becoming a very most sought out ERP packages. So this is the story or a brief behind it. Okay. Now, what are the industries? Where is SAP applicable? Can you apply to only one industry? Can you apply to only one kind of a business? So this slide gives you the answer for where SAP can be applied, where SAP can be used. So if you were thinking as to, okay, SAP can be suitable only for this industry, that industry, no. Any kind of an industry can make use of SAP. So you can see how beautifully SAP can be converted based on the business requirements. So it is not business specific. So it doesn't say only, oh, okay, only this industry can use SAP. This industry, no, it is not applicable for this industry. No. As you can see even the pharma industry using SAP. Okay, this is a spread of SAP where it is touching to what businesses can be applied. So can you see even the food industries, they are using SAP. Okay, now we can exemplify them. So now industry wise, companies You can see them on the right, the companies being specified based on the industry. You can see that the companies, what kind of companies and what kind of industries they are already using SAP. So you can see the widespread of the industries. So oil sector, retail, public. So even the complex business activities of public sectors are also being addressed by the SAP system. And you can see the companies on your right, BEL, BHEL. So like this, you can see how SAP is spread. Okay. Now, even before we get into this, so this is a very brief about SAP. Now, okay, let me see the slides. What can be done today? We'll come to the navigation steps a little later. That should not be a problem. So what is a GUI? So this is for the later stage when you get your SAP accesses. Okay. Now, let me share the, so let just have the screen in mind. Okay. I will share the Excel sheet. Just give me a moment. Janvi madam, can you please confirm if you are able to see my Excel sheet?
Yes, sir.
Fantastic. Thank you, madam. Just a moment. Now just let us quickly go back to understand what we all did today. Increase the font size. Okay, so we just spoke about ERP. What does ERP stand for? So even before, SAP also belongs to this family. Okay, so even before SAP, we had PeopleSoft, you should not be surprised if some parts of the globe they are still using this. Of course, I have seen people using BAN. If I'm not wrong, Germany, JD Edwards, some parts of the US. As I said, SAP. Now, why SAP? Because if you talk about ERP packages like PeopleSoft, of course, I have not seen. I'm not even seen the ERP of PeopleSoft, but they were basically to address the HR side of the business, human resources. So like this, each one of the mentioned ERP packages, they were addressing only maybe not the whole business as such, but only to a few business activities. But when you're talking about SAP, which stands for products, you can also replace this with procedures. This is as per what SAP stands for. Okay, so what does it do? We also said that it belongs to the ERP family. Now, why SAP is the most sought out ERP packages as far as the current business is concerned? Integration. Integration of what? Integration business activities or the various business functions. So what could be the business functions? So very small business activities, what I have mentioned. These business activities, what you can map to the business, physical business, they are in SAP referred to as modules. So basically, when we are talking about modules, now the examples what I gave you, they form the functional side of the business. So is there any other side of the business what SAP should actually cater to? What about the reporting? Where does it come from? What about the security of the data? Okay, now currently data is the most critical thing about a business. No business wants its data to be available just like that. Okay, now we are now in this functional modules. We spoke about the action side of the business. So you purchase, you sell, you plan your production, you have various other things, human resources, finance coming in, going out. But how does these things converge itself as a report? Basically, since SAP is a software package, it has to have some language in which it is being coding, or how all these things can be used. Technique. So what does these things include? They talk about the coding. Security of the SAP system. So this is managed by something called as ABAP. This is again, these two are the classic examples of the technical modules. I will just show you when we get in deeper and deeper into the SAP system, trying to understand the financial side of SAP. I will probably show you some things about ABAP also. Okay, let us see how if I can do it. Now, if you want me to typically talk about these things in the finance perspective, this is called as FI module, material management module, your purchases, sales and distribution module, HR module, PP module. So like this. So I forgot about the so where should all these things go and actually reflect? This is referred to as the controlling module, CO. So now these two go hand in hand. Now you cannot call, see, if you're talking about from the how the work happens in the SAP scenario, you saw one of the slides talking about the functions of an SAP consultant. Now there are two kinds of people who work on who make use of the system. One is a person who designs the system for the business. So as I said, even before I get into that, these are the functional business modules, what you typically call them as modules in SAP. These are all the technical modules in SAP. Few examples of your technical modules, ABAP and this is nothing but your coding language. The language in which the whole of the SAP system or the whole of SAP is actually written. The basis consultant or the basis module in SAP is responsible for the security of your SAP data. Okay. Now, I was just talking to you about, just give me a moment. What kind of people they use the SAP system? I'm just giving you a very brief thing about how things work in SAP environment. And I'm slowly exposing you to the terms what typically are being used in SAP, or when you get into SAP in any of after you get qualified as CMAs, you may have to start working on the SAP system. Okay, so probably you may have to get used to all these terminologies. One is the consultant role. Who is a consultant? Consultant is a person who designs the SAP system for a specific business. Let me say a customer comes in, a client comes in. So he wants his organizations to switch over to SAP. He was earlier using some other system. So he has heard that SAP is a wonderful system. So he wants to go about investing on SAP for his business. So whom does he approach? He approaches a company which is capable of implementing SAP for his business. All right. Now, who implements SAP for that particular customer? These people, they are called as consultants. They design the SAP system for the particular business requirement for that particular customer. So you already saw if you remember a slide which we said the kinds of industries where SAP is applicable: the food industry, the pharma industry, the chemical industry. Okay, whatever. Now, one customer may be. I can also add real estate, the real estate of business, okay, which is called as a REFX, because I have worked on this particular real estate part of SAP. I've also worked on the media. So the SAP requirement for each kind of a business is very different. SAP delivers the requirement for all the businesses, no doubt about it. But does the current business or the customer's business, does it really want to get into all these things? No, he doesn't bother about that. He wants his business to be seen on the SAP system. That's it. How you are going to advise, how you are going to implement, how you are going to educate the employees of the particular organization is what the consultant does. Okay, the last line, what I said, how the employees of the customer, they get educated on what? They get educated on what? Get educated how to use the SAP system. Okay, they are set of end users. So these two are the typical people who use the SAP system. One is the consultant who builds the SAP system. The other person is an end user who uses the SAP system. He is not bothered about how the SAP system is built. He wants to enter a PO. Yes, he simply uses something in SAP and creates a purchase order. That's it. He is more bothered about that. But how is the purchase order designed? Who creates a vendor within the system? Okay. So all these things, they are taken care of by the consultant. He understands the business requirement of the customer and then he builds up the SAP system. SAP system as such is a big ocean. Okay, if you have to use all the things in SAP, I don't know what to say. It is impossible. It is next to impossible for any of the person to pick up all the things in SAP, because SAP is so huge. All right. So we are sticking only to this particular functionality, nothing more. Of course, we are going to see a very brief introduction to CEO also, but we will keep it very, very simple. So if you can see, all these modules, they always talk to the finance module, because the controlling or the costing module, they'll have to get the input from the FI module. Let us say he wants to have an analysis of the, what example should I give? WIP. The CFO or somebody wants to know what is a WIP. So where is the information coming from? It is coming from a combination of finance, material management. So now you saw the integration. This is exactly what I was trying to impress upon. The integration. So the whole setup is dependent on how competent enough the consultant understands the business. And this is the gap between the qualified people and the current market requirement, which was addressed to by the senior people who addressed the gathering today morning. So this was the gap. This is the gap which we will have to try to address. Try to become more and more competitive and improve our skills, be it whatever format, maybe in SAP or maybe communication. So you will understand how very important communication also is when it comes to SAP. You need to talk, you need to make the customer understand what SAP does for him, does for his business. So what is the expectation of the customer? He will think that, oh, I have invested so much of money, so I want everything from SAP. So it is up to the consultant how very well he has understood the powers the limitations of the SAP system and how best he can provide the solutions to the customer's issues. So now you can see the challenging role of a consultant. Okay, but the end user. So you should also carry out the training for these end users. You just cannot implement SAP and just walk out. Okay, the consultant needs to, or the company which is implementing SAP needs to also understand how the end users, they are going to be trained as to how to use the SAP system. It is simply not enough to implement SAP and say, okay, the job is done. No, it doesn't end there. So there is a specific flow of how the SAP project is implemented. Of course, maybe we will look at it a little later. All right. So basically, our role is to understand the financial side of SAP. Of course, when we try to understand, when we talk about the what should I say? When we get deeper into the integration, we are going to study about how these modules get stitched to FI. How these modules, and these are not the only modules. Please do not think that these are all the only modules. We have project systems, we have various other modules. Okay. Now these are the most common of the modules what you may hear. Okay, when you talk to your friend who's already working on the SAP system, you will see him talking this language. Modules, FI module, MM module. So these are all so now I have drawn a parallel. So if somebody talks to you about, okay, this is a MM module, I'm working on the MM module. So you must understand that he's talking from the purchases side of the business. Okay, so these are all I have just introduced you to very, very minimal terminologies. As we go into the SAP system, you will see that we will have a lot more to talk about these things, because the FI, when I come to discussing the SAP FI side of the business, you will see that you will be introduced to, or when we talk about how SAP should be used, the initial thing what you need to do, the SAP GUI, we just saw a slide GUI, how it should be installed on your system. I think when Balaji sir flashed a slide in energy, you would have observed, maybe I'm not very sure, you would see that how SAP installation guide, the processes. So these are all the things what needs to be done even before you ever think of SAP. Okay. Now, Janvi madam, do we already have some questions? No. Anyway,
Not yet, sir. Now it's just starting, no? Not yet.
Yeah, correct. Anyway, let people not worry. Again, tomorrow I'm just going to give a brief about this. Also, I'm going to start from where we have left today.
Okay, sir.
So, okay. So what more? I would also from the consultant's perspective. So even before the slide, I want people to share, I want people to know about what is the role of a consultant. Janvi madam, we are able to see the PPT?
Not yet, sir.
Just give me a moment, madam. I have shared that. Why is it not happening?
Not visible, sir.
Just a minute. Now, madam?
Now
Everyone
visible.
is-
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine.
Visible.
So in the Excel, I had just mentioned who and what is the role of a consultant. Okay, these are all the typical terminologies what you will definitely hear once you get qualified as CMS and when you have to work on the SAP system to understand and demonstrate. To understand and demonstrate, in this case, it is the SAP. Based on the requirements of your customer, you are going to understand his requirement, convert his requirement into the SAP format, and then you're going to provide the solutions based on your knowledge. Knowledge of what? Knowledge of the SAP system. But of course, I'm just giving it to you, but this course doesn't require you to become a consultant. It is basically the power user course. But this was very interesting, and I found it to be a very good slide for me to present. So, how do enterprises or your businesses function? So this again, how you map the business requirement to SAP. So if a customer who doesn't know SAP, he simply wants to use the SAP system and he wants to understand, even before he starts implementing SAP into his business, he wants to understand what SAP can do better than the current system, what he is using. He may be using any system, but how is SAP more advantageous for his business? So he wants to understand. So as a consultant, you are supposed to understand. First is understand. Understand what? Understand the requirement, what he wants. And then talk about what SAP can do better than what he was doing earlier. All right. What are the major business procedures? As I said, how he is carrying out, what are the methodologies of his business? Okay, suppose he is into chemical industry, the way he is conducting his business is different when you compare it with any other industry, like the pharma industry, or to the media industry, or to the real estate industry. So you need to map how the business is happening and how each one of the functions of his business, they are talking to each other, and how you could achieve the same integration in SAP. Because that is basically the role of a consultant. He is coming to you, the customer is coming to you because he wants some expert advice. What better can SAP deliver to him? Okay, understand and analyze. It's the same thing again. Okay, what are the major links between the processes? This was exactly the integration what I was talking to you. Map solutions in SAP. So what are the solutions what SAP can offer for the specific issue of the customer? Develop the system configuration. That is the consultant. He builds up the system meeting the requirements of the specific customer. He will test the system whether it is doing the things correctly based on the requirements of the customer, and finally deliver the product. Finally deliver the SAP solution to the customer. This is the role of a consultant. So what does the end user do? So in this last step, what I said, configure, test and deliver, there is an additional role of a consultant. What is this additional role? The consultant at the specific juncture of the project. So to deliver the whole package, SAP package, there are steps involved. So the SAP project needs to be delivered based on the logical sequencing of the steps. Okay, there is a specific methodology which the consultant needs to follow, and in one of the steps, configuration is nothing but you develop the system. The consultant, the FI consultant, the MM consultant, the SD consultant. So based on the project, how many consultants they are working on the specific projects. So one of the projects may not require a production planning consultant because there is no production involved. So it all depends on how you want to deliver the SAP product based on the requirement of the customer. It is not that all the projects will have all the consultants. No, it is not that. Okay. That is one thing. So you develop the SAP system and you test. You have various tests being conducted in the life cycle of the project. Okay. So when the product is checked, how the integration is happening, are the entries happening correctly? Is a purchase order getting generated? Is there any hassle in the system? Is there any bugs in the system which I need to rectify? Okay, so these are all the things what the consultant must ensure, and finally he will also train the end users. End users, who are the end users? The people who are the employees of my customer. They also have to be trained. I cannot expect, I am a consultant, I know the SAP product, but I cannot expect the employees of the particular organization, they also are aware of the SAP system. So what do I need to do? I need to educate. This is also a part of the life cycle of the SAP project. So as a consultant, okay, as a person responsible for configuring the SAP system for my customer, I also take up the responsibility of training the end users. End users, so they could be people in the AP department, accounts payable department, accounts receivable department, purchase department, sales department. So there are consultants who would take up the responsibility of training as to how to use the SAP system based on the requirements of a specific user of a specific department. So here, the salesperson may not know how to use the SAP system meant for purchases, and vice versa. The person in the purchase department may or may not know what is happening from the sales side. He may not know. All right. It is not that he should not know, but it's not necessary for him to know because it is not his job. Okay. And so like this, when you talk about the different stages of an SAP project, there are various steps. So when it comes at the appropriate time, let us also give a brief discussion about that also. Let us see if we can do that. Now, I assume that we have known the role of a consultant. We have understood the meaning of this particular terminology, consultant. All right. Now, what is in the next slide? Navigation tips. We will do it once you get hold of the SAP system. GUI also. GUI stands for your graphical user interface. Okay, these are all the things which we'll discuss once you get hold of your SAP system. So we will also have a look at so we also saw what industries they use SAP. This is just a very small example. See, you can see the jewelers also. They also use the SAP system. A very, very prominent jeweler. We were responsible for configuring the SAP system for a very, very prominent jeweler. Okay. So you can also see Coffee Day, Tata's. So you can see the spread of the SAP system, who can use the SAP system and to what extent and to what complexity the system can be used. You can see the business transactions, obviously in public sector, is very, very complex. You need to map so many activities of a public sector industry, what it does. Okay, so you can also imagine how complex the implementation could be. Okay, so but you can really appreciate to what SAP can be applied. And over and above this, I also said real estate, media. Okay, so SAP can be applied to those industries also. I don't know how far real estate is being used here, but when we were doing it for a Dubai client, yes, they were using a lot of real estate when this real estate was a boom. So we were responsible for configuring the REFX module. Okay, now even before this, okay. This is the technical side of SAP, how the whole system is designed, architecture of SAP. Okay. Just you're saying, if you take out any of the system, any of the books, you can see that SAP is always associated with R3. Now, interesting, what is this R3? So we'll also have a look at the others, the next slide. This is the 3 layers. This is what 3 stands for. Now, I will share the Excel sheet. Now, we saw something called as SAP R-3, R/3. So SAP we know. Okay. SAP stands for okay. Now, what is this R3? What do we mean by R3? R stands for the way SAP is processing the data. SAP is processing the data real time, meaning whenever you are entering the data, it is immediately getting processed and the output is already available. This is exactly what your real-time processing. You have other forms of processing data. You have batch, online processing, batch processing. Okay, this happens in real time. Your 3. What does 3 stand for? Three layers. They can also be, to be more professional, you can also call them as 3 tiers. 3 tiers of, as we saw, I just showed you the second screen, which showed the breakup of these 3 layers. Now this is the current structure, architecture of the SAP system. So what are the 3 layers? Presentation, application database. The presentation layer is the one which you see as a screen, your computer screen, your laptop screen, your tab screen, wherever you have downloaded SAP and wherever you want to input data into the SAP system in the form of an invoice, in the form of a whatever, in the form of a journal voucher. So this is the layer, or the place where you're entering the data is referred to as a presentation layer. For example, I'm seeing the SAP screen on my laptop. So this is exactly my presentation layer. Now, I want to make a payment to my vendor, or I want to create a purchase order. I want to create a purchase invoice. I am doing all this in the presentation layer. But where is the data getting processed? So let me say, when I am creating a vendor invoice, I need to mention against which vendor I'm actually raising this invoice, or the particular vendor, who the particular vendor is. So where is this getting understood? This is getting understood or being connected in the application layer. This is being processed in the application layer. Now, you are doing so many things on the SAP system. AP side, something is happening in your organization. The accounts receivable side, something is happening. Sales is happening. Purchase is happening. The employees are getting paid. Where is all this data going and getting stored? They are getting stored in the database layer. Okay. Currently, this is the R3. This is about R3, how the, or maybe in simple words, the architecture of SAP, how SAP is designed. I think probably you can see this in the materials what you have been provided. Okay. Earlier, even before this R3, the current architecture was not the initial architecture. So earlier it was R1, gradually got developed to R2. Based on the complexity and the requirement of the business to cut down on the processing time and the reporting time of the data, this R1 and R2 got finally broken down to R3. In R1, what happened? There was all the three layers were one. There was no distinction. So in one place, all the things, you had to enter data, you had to process the data, and the data had to be stored also in the SAP system. So you could very well imagine the speed of the SAP system then. Now what happened, to address the space and the time constraint, these two, they got clubbed as one. So that evolved as R2. So that the retrieval and the processing of the data was much quicker. But over a period of time, the way the business was conducted also became complex, and the various reports, what the business actually, the management wanted to actually achieve, that also became complex. So to save space as well as the time, the R1 and R2 that became R3. So this is what you saw in your slides.
Okay, sir.
Fine, madam.
Yes, sir. So can we wind up the session for today? Is it okay, sir?
Sure, madam. Why not? Yeah, we can wind it up.
Okay, so students, now we'll wind up the session for today as it's 12:30 already. And see you all again in half an hour at 1 o'clock for the session of Microsoft. Okay.